As COVID cases surge and children return to school, parents are more concerned and are looking for ways to keep their homes clean and safe. Joining us this morning to discuss all of this, Tanya Harris, the author of The Slightly Greener Method. Tanya, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being with us. Okay, so your book says it all, The Slightly Greener Method. You're talking about non-toxic alternatives when it comes to unhealthy cleaning products.
That's right. There's so many different ways that we can clean, and the good news is we don't have to go in with really harsh chemicals. There are some things such as hydrogen peroxide and rubbing alcohol that can actually kill some of these germs that we're worried about, rather than using major disinfecting wipes.
Yeah, and some of the stuff you already have in your home, right? So you're just reminding us, hey, use what you have. You don't have to go out there and buy all the stuff you think you need. Okay, so we discussed the fact that, after winter break, parents sent their kids to school. Some parents waited a little. I know a lot of parents waited a week or two, actually, because of the surge in numbers. But they're worried because when their kids come home from school, they're bringing with them all the germs, which really hasn't changed. That's always been the case. So you have a list of things that you can do at home in order to minimize the amount of stuff these kids bring home.
Exactly, and this is good for just about anything. It's just good practice to do this, because if we do things such as designate a specific area for your kids to do homework, that really cuts down on the amount of germs you bring in. So the first thing I recommend is having an area inside your home where the kids come in, and it could be either inside the garage or in a mudroom, but where you have some shelves and some hooks. And that way kids can hang their backpack and their lunchbox, and they can take off their shoes so they're not bringing that into the home. The next thing you can do is, again, designate that specific area, one area in your home for kids to do homework or to study. And again, this will really cut down on the amount of germs that you bring into your home if they're not spread all over the place. Another thing I recommend is to separate and have a separate set of pens and pencils in your home, because at school, so many people touch our pens and pencils, or it's easy to grab someone else's. So if we just have that separate set at home, that's a really good idea. And again, after doing homework, go ahead and put your stuff away right away, back into your backpack. So put your textbooks back, any supplies you used, and then wash your hands really good after, and you can also wipe down the surface. So clean it first. I always recommend using a multi-purpose cleaner, and then if you want to disinfect, you can spray it with something like isopropyl alcohol or hydrogen peroxide. Let it sit for a few minutes before wiping away. And again, really just washing your hands. And for the backpacks, you can wash those probably once a week. Just check the care instructions. And then when it comes to our masks, make sure that you're disposing of the disposable masks every time you use them, or wash the cloth masks at least once a day, or not, just wash those every time you use them, and always have a few on hand just for each child.
The backpack thing, I have to tell you, I hadn't thought about that. Ooh, yeah, I hadn't washed that backpack. Maybe I need to get on that. But we do leave it right by the door. It never really comes inside. Again, see, this is good because it's not just about COVID, because we know you're not really getting COVID from surfaces, but it's just good hygiene, and children are always bringing in germs. So this is what this is all about. I do two things. I want to share them with you, and you tell me, because sometimes I think people think I'm crazy. I always make my daughter change her clothes like fully when she comes home from school. And the second thing I do is when, let's say they go to the library and bring a book home, I always Lysol that book. And it's not even because of the germ factor. I'm telling you, when I Lysol that book, it's covered in just dirt.
Exactly. It's definitely not a bad idea. Same thing with cell phones. We can wipe those down too. And you can just use a simple alcohol wipe, and that'll really cut down on the germs, because yes, we bring in so many germs from so many areas. So I love what you do. Okay,
good. All right. I'm glad. Thank you. Even though my producer said, okay, crazy, we're going to wrap after that. Tanya, thanks so much. Really appreciate you coming on and reminding us of all the things we need to do to keep ourselves clean and safe. It's a problem that just seems to be getting worse, I think, right? Especially now. So we really appreciate it. And we want people to check out your book, The Slightly Greener Method. Always a good reminder.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too. Thanks.